Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and it's time to review the third solo LP by Harry Styles. The former One Direction member has already had a pretty prolific solo career, the most successful out of his bandmates. And I really think that's in part due to his creative spark and the fact that he has ingenuity beyond what a lot of the pop market is offering. His new record is titled Harry's House, kind of an homage to Joni Mitchell in a way, the name of a song from a 1970s LP, and now fast forwarded into something that's much more internal, introspective, and more intimate for this side of Harry. Kicking into the cycle for Harry's House felt seamless because just as Love on Tour was continuing with the Fine Line cycle, it evolved over to Harry's House, and I really enjoyed the lead single as it was. It's a song with a lot of pop appeal to it, a lot of synthesizers. It definitely has some 80s leaning sensibilities, but smart songwriting and really sharp production really makes it stand out. The worldwide domination continued as Harry made his way over to the States to headline Coachella, where he debuted the new songs Boyfriends and Late Night Talking. I wasn't instantly sold, but I did hear things that I liked in both, so I anxiously anticipated both the studio versions of those and the entire album, of course. Now that I've had plenty of time to let this album sink in, I do think that it's grown on me with repeat listens, but I do feel that it's his weakest effort overall. But weak doesn't mean bad, I just have such an immense respect for what he did on the first two, and this one can't help but feel like a slight step down, a downgrade in the lyrical department, and the fact that some of the production can be inconsistent, and also the pacing of the track list. The man is in a committed relationship. I think we can safely assume that, and we know that he's dating director Olivia Wilde. They work together on a film that's coming out this fall, Don't Worry Darling. I think that their chemistry was definitely sparked on set, but there's obviously a connection that Styles feels very, very deeply passionate about, and those romantic endeavors are all throughout the track listing. Music for a Sushi restaurant opens the record by storming the gates and parading through the streets with a very celebratory hook. This is a song that has a lot going on, and there are many things that could have gone wrong, but the more I listen, the more I appreciate. It could have gotten really cluttered really fast with the fact that there's a brass section, and then all of a sudden Harry's kinda doing a shoo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Take it as a signal that this record is gonna feel very 70s in its intentions, and I don't think that this is something that Harry did as just a passing glance and a flirt with disco or pop music of the time. It blends the worlds of 70s, 80s synth pop, and also modern music. Unfortunately, the charm he wears so well on cuts like Satellite that really feels spaced out and nostalgic, and also Late Night Talking where we get some horns to make it all sound a little bit more triumphant. A lot of the album does stride into more average territory, and I think a lot of that has to do with love and how familiar the subject matter can seem. When you feel like you're all consumed by another person, that love that's pouring out of you might actually be a reflection of an experience that maybe you've heard somewhere else, and it can't help but feel a bit done before when you've got so many songs that are written about the relationship. Cinema Stands is one of those tracks where I have mixed feelings because I like a lot of the progression that are happening within the verses, but then I think we get some kind of clunky writing that makes the chorus fall flat. Daylight takes its time to build out nicely, and it has been growing on me steadily, with my favorite portion of the song coming at that climax with a big payoff with drums, guitar, and Harry going a little bit harder. But again, with this being a more intimate album, I can see why there wasn't a ton of that bombast, but the moments that do come can't help but feel slightly out of place, even if I do really like them. The conversation gets trickier as we arrive at tracks like Keep Driving, where I see what Harry is attempting to do by pulling out this idea that so much is going on in the world that sometimes you just kind of have to pull back and keep driving to focus on yourself. But the bridge of this track just comes across a little bit awkward with the things that he name checks, including something that I thought he was saying but wasn't actually apparently saying, life hacks gone viral in the bathroom. Also, I gotta ask, to anyone living in the UK, is there like some sort of side boob fetish over there? Because I keep hearing it name checked. First Alex Turner of the Arctic Monkeys, now Harry Styles is saying side boob? Reeling it back into the more positive side of the spectrum, I was floored by a cut like Grapejuice that I think is so strong because of the sense bars of melody and the unwavering tempered percussion on the track, the synths, the nice guitar that just feels so watery, gentle, and calming. It's Harry Styles at his absolute best, and once again, it's a sense of escapism. Harry's house has an underlying theme of home being what you make it, wherever you go, that can be home as long as you're surrounded by the right people, or else home not necessarily being a home just because it's the walls that surround you. The most exemplary place that this is personified is the track Matilda, which is much more emotionally inclined than a lot of the track list. Harry offers this advice to a young person that seems to be struggling at home with parents or the family around them and things not going well. He talks about why this isn't deserved and that they didn't do this on purpose and that things will get better, and it just feels so natural and so compassionate that I can't help but love it. And speaking of love, before I go, I just wanted to say that the closing track, Love of My Life, I love those spaced out, airy, reverb heavy synthesizers, and the track as a whole is a great way to close out this album. Although I think this is Harry's weakest album to date, there are a decent amount of songs that I have already pulled off and saved, and I think will get a lot of replay from me in the future. If you guys would be interested in seeing my top 10 Harry Styles songs, then let me know by liking the video and dropping a comment down below. But for me personally, with Harry's House, I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. This is definitely a more stripped back album in many facets, which makes sense for Styles considering the pandemic and obviously a lot of time to reflect and everything like that, but let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Check out some more Harry Styles videos that I made floating on screen right now. All of my socials can be found linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon for more on ARTV.